The camera slowly pans over the town as the first light of dawn barely breaks the horizon, casting a faint orange glow over the empty streets. The town, once filled with the sounds of daily life, now stands still, eerily quiet. Abandoned carts and overturned crates are scattered across the cobblestone streets, signs of lives interrupted. The wind picks up, whispering through the alleys, carrying with it the scent of decay and dust. Dry leaves skitter across the pavement, creating a rhythmic, haunting sound that breaks the stillness of the air. As the camera moves through the empty town square, the first glimpse of movement catches the eye. One figure, huddled in a doorway, their hand pressed to their chest, trying to steady their breath. The silence is thick, almost suffocating, as the camera continues to move through the desolate town. The silence is broken only by the faint rustling of the wind, the occasional creak of a wooden sign swaying, and the distant sound of a dog barking, its voice weak and desperate. There are no children playing in the streets, no merchants shouting their wares, no travelers passing through. The town feels abandoned, as if time itself has stopped. Elizabeth's house stands at the edge of town, just out of sight of the town square. Inside, she moves quickly through the dimly lit halls, her face etched with worry. Her daughter Emma lies in a small bed, her feverish body racked with coughs. Elizabeth wipes her forehead, her hands trembling as she presses a cold cloth against her daughter's skin. The weight of her daughter's illness presses down on her chest, each cough from Emma a reminder that something far worse than a common cold has taken hold. Elizabeth's eyes dart to the window, where she can see the faint glow of the morning light creeping through the gaps in the shutters. She knows she must act quickly, but she also knows she can do little to fight the invisible enemy that's sweeping through the town. She knows that she's not the only one who's witnessing this terrifying sickness take hold of their loved ones. Word has spread. There's a sickness moving faster than anyone can keep up with, and it is only a matter of time before it takes everything. John, the leader of the community, stands outside, his expression grim as he surveys the scene. He walks through the town square, his boots clicking sharply against the stones, a stark contrast to the heavy silence surrounding him. His eyes scan the empty streets, the shutters of houses pulled tightly shut, the town once so full of life now a shell of its former self. He knows that if he doesn't take charge soon, the town will fall into chaos. But the question weighs heavily on his mind. What is the cause of this sickness? Where did it come from? And how can he stop it before it consumes everyone? As Elizabeth continues to care for her daughter, her hands shaking with fear and exhaustion, she can hear the faint murmur of voices outside. The door creaks open, and John steps inside. He looks at her, his face hard, but there is a hint of uncertainty in his eyes. They don't speak immediately. There's nothing to say that hasn't already been said. He knows the truth. She knows it too. The sickness is spreading, and no one is safe. But they can't afford to give up yet. John stands at the foot of the bed, his face solemn as he watches Elizabeth try, in vain, to comfort Emma. He knows that Elizabeth is strong, stronger than most, but even she cannot fight this plague alone. The look in his eyes says everything. They need to find the source of the sickness before it's too late. Elizabeth stands up, her knees weak but her resolve strong. She takes a deep breath and looks at John, her voice barely a whisper. "We have to do something. We can't just wait for it to take everyone." John nods. "I know, but we need to figure out where it started, how it's spreading. I'll gather a group to investigate. You stay with Emma. We'll need to know if anyone else is showing signs, and we'll need to isolate them. The less contact we have with each other, the better." Elizabeth nods, her heart heavy. The plan is set, but both know that time is running out. The plague is already here, and it's only a matter of time before it reaches everyone. John turns to leave but pauses at the door, his back to Elizabeth. He knows what she's thinking. How could he ask her to stay behind when her own daughter is so gravely ill? But he also knows that they need her strength. The entire town needs her strength. As John steps out of the door, Elizabeth moves to the window and watches him walk away. She knows that she must stay behind, but her heart aches with the knowledge that she cannot protect Emma from what is coming. She turns back to her daughter, who is now feverishly muttering in her sleep, her face pale and clammy. Outside, the sky darkens and the wind picks up, carrying with it the heavy scent of something foul. The townspeople have no way of knowing yet, but they're already fighting a battle they cannot win. The plague is here, and it has come to take everything from them. For now, all they can do is wait and hope that the plan they've set in motion will be enough to save them. But deep down, Elizabeth knows that it may already be too late. The town is already under siege, and soon they'll all be at the mercy of the invisible killer that stalks them. The city, once lively and bustling, now lies silent. The faintest traces of morning light break through the dense clouds that hang low in the sky, but the air feels thick, heavy, as though it too is weighed down by the impending doom that looms over them. The streets, which would have been filled with the everyday sounds of life, are now eerily quiet. The usual cries of vendors selling their wares, children laughing, and the clatter of horse-drawn carts are gone. In their place, there is only an unsettling stillness, broken only by the occasional gust of wind, pushing fallen leaves across the cobblestones. People once familiar have become rare sightings, their hurried footsteps only a distant memory. Elizabeth stands at the window of her home, looking out into the desolate street. Her heart tightens as she watches the once bustling town become a ghost town. The few people she can see move with urgency, eyes scanning their surroundings, their movements quick, almost frantic. Every door is shut tightly, and windows are covered with whatever cloth or wood can be found. The air is thick with the stench of fear, an invisible force pressing down on everything. She turns away from the window and glances at her daughter, Emma, who lies feverishly in bed. Her chest rises and falls with each labored breath, her face flushed with the heat of her fever. Elizabeth's hands tremble as she places a cool cloth on Emma's forehead, wiping away the sweat that continues to accumulate. The room feels warmer now, not just from the heat of the illness, but from the heavy atmosphere of their house, which has transformed into a place of fear and uncertainty. The sickness has taken hold. Elizabeth knows it, feels it in the very air they breathe. Her daughter's worsening condition is the clearest sign, but she is not the only one. People are dropping one by one, taken by the plague in the dead of night, with no warning, no explanation. The sound of coughing now fills the streets more than any other sound, a constant reminder of the threat that looms over them. People fall ill within hours, their bodies weak, their minds confused. There are whispers of death in the town, and even the strongest of people now look over their shoulders, wondering who will be next. The once vibrant town is now marked by the unmistakable signs of its slow decay. The market square is empty, the shops closed, and the laughter that once filled the air is now replaced by hushed voices. Some people have barricaded themselves inside their homes, refusing to answer the door to even their closest friends. Others have taken their families and fled into the countryside, believing that if they leave, they will escape the plague. But Elizabeth knows better. The sickness has already taken root. It's in the air, it's in the soil, and no one is safe. Running is futile. It's only a matter of time before the entire town succumbs. Outside, John is walking through the streets, trying to maintain some semblance of order in a place rapidly falling into chaos. His brow is furrowed, his mouth set in a grim line as he watches people move in and out of their homes. Their faces gaunt, their eyes filled with fear. There's no authority anymore, no structure. He knows the city is on the verge of breaking apart completely, but he won't let it happen without a fight. He can't, not while there are people left to save. "Stay inside, all of you," he shouts, though his voice is weak, carried by the wind more than heard by anyone. His words are swallowed by the silence that envelops the town. The gates of the town are locked, but John knows that isn't enough. They need more than just walls to protect them. The sickness doesn't follow rules. It doesn't care about gates or walls. John gathers a small group of men, trying to organize an effort to contain the spread of the plague. They stand in the town square, their faces grim, their shoulders slumped with exhaustion. There are only a few left who still believe they can stop it, and John feels the weight of that hope pressing on him. But how can they stop something they don't even understand? There are no answers, no cures, only fear. Elizabeth, meanwhile, searches frantically for a remedy. She has heard rumors of a rare herb that might help, something that could alleviate the suffering, something that could save her daughter. She can barely remember what the woman told her the night before, but she knows she must try. She is running out of options. She looks around the house for anything that could help, even though she knows the chances are slim. John continues his rounds through the town, trying to keep people calm even though he feels the panic building inside him. He tells them to stay inside, to keep away from each other, to lock their doors and windows tight. He doesn't want to say it aloud, but he knows that it may already be too late for some. He watches as people move in and out of their homes, avoiding each other's gaze, as if afraid to be the next to catch the sickness. It's as if the town is dying right before his eyes, and there's nothing he can do to stop it. Elizabeth returns to her daughter's side, her body heavy with exhaustion. She has searched the town, speaking to anyone who might know something, but she has found nothing. The herb she heard of is nowhere to be found. There's nothing left for her to do but wait. The illness has taken over every part of their lives, and all she can do now is watch as her daughter grows weaker by the hour. The disease has taken more than just her health. It has taken her peace of mind, her sense of safety, and now it is taking her family. In the midst of all this chaos, the townspeople begin to lose hope. The panic becomes palpable. Those who are still healthy barricade themselves in their homes, refusing to even acknowledge each other. There are no more leaders, no more guidance. The disease has become the leader of the town now, and it is a ruthless, unstoppable force. But John, though weakened by fear and uncertainty, refuses to give in. As night falls and the streets grow darker, he continues to try and hold things together. He's no longer just the leader of the town. He's now a symbol of the last shred of hope left in a world that is quickly unraveling. Elizabeth sits by her daughter's side, staring out the window at the darkening sky. She knows it's only a matter of time before the plague claims more victims, and her heart breaks at the thought. But she won't give up. Not yet. She'll do whatever it takes to save her daughter, to save anyone she can, even if that means risking her own life. In the quiet stillness of the town, the plague continues its relentless march forward. No one is safe, and yet they all must find the courage to face it, to survive in whatever way they can. But for now they can only wait, hoping against hope that tomorrow will bring the answers they so desperately need. The town, once full of life and bustling with activity, is now a hollow shell of what it once was. The streets that were once teeming with people, voices and the sounds of carts and animals now lie empty. The wind howls through the deserted streets, kicking up dust and debris. It's a cruel, relentless wind, carrying with it the scent of death and decay, a reminder that the plague has swept through with an iron grip, leaving destruction in its wake. The buildings, once full of the warmth of human existence, stand as silent witnesses to the city's slow death. The windows are boarded up and doors are shut tightly, as if the very walls themselves are trying to protect what little remains. But the plague is relentless. It has seeped into every corner of this once thriving town, leaving no stone unturned. The few who are still alive move in hushed tones, as if the very act of speaking might draw the attention of the disease that lurks just out of sight. Inside Elizabeth's home, the mood is no different. The faint sound of her daughter's labored breathing is the only thing that breaks the silence. Emma lies still, her face pale, her once vibrant eyes now dull and lifeless. Elizabeth hovers over her, a rare glimmer of hope still in her heart. She's found the rare remedy, a plant, a brew that could save her daughter. But as she stares at the concoction, her heart sinks. She knows it's too late. The plague has already claimed too much of her daughter's strength. There's nothing more she can do. Elizabeth's body shakes as she feels the finality of it all. She holds her daughter's hand, staring at the pale, fragile skin, and for the first time she feels the weight of their helplessness. There are no words left to say, no magic elixir that can reverse the damage done. The city around them is dying, and with it, the last of the hope that once held everything together. But even as the death toll rises and the city continues to crumble, there are still a few souls left who refuse to give in. Elizabeth, despite the weight of her own grief, finds a way to rally the remaining survivors. She has lost so much already, but her spirit refuses to die. She moves from house to house, knocking on doors, telling the remaining survivors that they must fight, that they cannot give in to despair. "Don't give up," she says to each person she meets. "We can still fight. We can still survive. We owe it to the ones we've lost to keep going." Her voice is strong, but the cracks in it are impossible to hide. Her heart breaks with each person she speaks to. She knows that the time to run is fast approaching, that the town will soon be swallowed by the plague entirely. But still she fights to keep them together, to give them the strength to stand up and face the end, no matter how inevitable it may seem. John, on the other hand, is beginning to lose his resolve. He stands outside in the town square, his face grim, his eyes scanning the empty streets. The survivors are few, and they are growing fewer by the day. His heart aches as he watches the last of the people he's known slip away. The ones who remain are too weak to continue the fight. The town is falling apart at the seams, and he knows there's nothing left to save. John knows it's time to leave, to take the remaining survivors and lead them to safety. But the decision weighs heavily on him. He knows that the city is lost, that there's nothing left for them here. Yet he also knows that he cannot abandon those who remain. He has to do something, anything, to give them a fighting chance. With a heavy heart, John begins to prepare for the evacuation. He moves quickly, gathering the survivors together, trying to keep them calm. The streets are empty now, save for a few scattered figures huddling together for warmth, for comfort. There is no longer any place for them to go. The plague has taken everything they once held dear. Elizabeth meets John in the town square, her eyes filled with the weight of loss, but her face is resolute. She knows the truth. They can't stay here any longer. There is no more hope for this place. The town is gone. All they have left are the people they can save. "I've found a way out," John says, his voice hoarse. "It's not much, but it's something. We have to leave now, while we still can." Elizabeth nods. She doesn't need to hear more. She knows what's coming. She looks back at her daughter's body, the empty space in her heart growing with each passing second. She knows that she's leaving behind everything that mattered to her. But the fight isn't over. She will carry her daughter's memory with her, and she will not stop until she's done everything she can to survive. As the survivors gather their belongings and prepare to leave, Elizabeth walks to the front of the group. She turns to face them, her voice clear and steady, despite the sorrow that threatens to overwhelm her. "We may be leaving this town behind," she says, "but we are not leaving hope behind. We are not leaving each other behind. We are survivors, and we will find a way through this." John stands beside her, his face hard with determination. Together they lead the group away from the wreckage of their town, their steps slow but steady. They don't know where they're going or what the future holds, but for the first time in days, there is a glimmer of light on the horizon. They will survive, they will rebuild, but the town they once knew, gone forever. As the group moves away, the wind picks up again, its mournful howl filling the empty streets behind them. The town that was once full of life is now a place of death. And as the survivors leave, they carry with them the only thing left in abundance: grief, sorrow, and the faintest trace of hope. The city is a shadow of its former self. What was once a bustling hub of life, with children playing in the streets and merchants calling out to passers-by, now lies in ruin. The doors to houses hang loosely on their hinges, windows shattered, and the once vibrant town square is now a desolate wasteland. The remnants of everyday life, a broken cart here, a forgotten basket there, are scattered across the streets, abandoned as if the life that once filled this place vanished in an instant. The camera begins to pull back slowly, rising higher, offering a wide view of the destruction. The streets that were once filled with the sound of footsteps are now empty, save for the occasional gust of wind that stirs the dust and carries it across the cracked cobblestones. The wind howls, a mournful cry that echoes through the city's ruins, carrying with it the memory of what has been lost. The once bustling community, now reduced to a series of hollow buildings and broken roads, is silent. The city has been consumed by the plague, and with it, the heartbeat of the place has faded. As the camera continues to rise, showing more and more of the devastation, the enormity of the city's loss becomes clear. The homes, the shops, the places where people lived and worked are now empty, lifeless. The few souls that remained have scattered, fleeing to whatever haven they could find, leaving behind only the remnants of a civilization that once was. The streets are no longer a place of commerce or community. They are a cemetery of lost hopes, a place where the past can never return. Elizabeth, the last to leave, stands at the edge of the town, her gaze fixed on the city she once called home. The sadness in her eyes is palpable, but there is something else too: acceptance. She watches the empty streets, the silent buildings, knowing that there is nothing left here for her. Her heart aches for the memories that will never be made here again, for the life she had to leave behind. She feels the weight of every step she's taken away from this place, but at the same time, she knows she has no choice. The plague has won, and the city has fallen. She turns slowly, taking one last look at the empty streets, and walks away. Her steps are slow, deliberate, as if she's savoring the last few moments of a life she once knew, even if that life is now a distant memory. She leaves behind the place where she raised her daughter, where she tried to hold on to hope, but there is no more room for hope here. The wind picks up again, as if the city itself is sighing in defeat, and Elizabeth feels it in her bones. The city is gone, and so too is the life it once held. John, standing at the edge of the hill overlooking the town, watches Elizabeth walk away. He has always been the one to lead, to make decisions for the greater good. But now, in the face of this devastation, he is unsure of what good his efforts did. The city he worked so hard to protect is gone, consumed by a plague that no one could have predicted. He looks down at the empty streets, his heart heavy with regret. What could he have done differently? Was there something he missed, a sign he didn't see? The questions swirl in his mind, unanswered and unanswerable. The camera focuses on him for a moment, capturing the man who once held the weight of the town on his shoulders now, standing in silence, staring at the wreckage of all he knew. The wind blows through his hair, but he doesn't move. He doesn't even flinch. The world around him has changed, and he knows it. This is no longer the city he fought to protect. This is something else, something that can never be undone. As Elizabeth's figure fades into the distance, John turns away, his gaze lingering for a moment on the ruined city below. He takes a deep breath, the weight of the air pressing down on him, and then begins to walk toward the horizon, toward whatever future he can find. He doesn't look back. The past is gone, and with it, the city he loved. The camera pulls away again, rising higher, offering one last sweeping view of the desolation below. The city, once full of life, now lies empty, a shell of what it used to be. The wind continues to blow, and the only sound is the eerie whistle of the breeze as it passes through the broken remnants of a once thriving community. The last vestiges of the plague remain in the air, invisible yet omnipresent. It has taken everything, left nothing but dust and silence in its wake. The town that once lived and breathed now only exists in memory, and even that is fading, slowly slipping away with each passing day. As the camera fades to black, the last sounds are of the wind, the only reminder of what once was. The city is gone, and with it, the people. What remains is the ghost of a place, a memory of life and death, of hope and despair, and the bitter reality that sometimes even the strongest walls cannot protect against the forces of nature.